All right, let's see what SaltEMike has to say here. Let me move over at the top left of the screen. One moment, yeah. Sorry about that. SaltEMike reacts to CIG explaining how cargo works in 4.0. Okay, let's see what we can get through here and see what there is to see.
All right, so slightly different lighting today than what I'm used to. I wanted my lights to be a little bit darker because they were too bright in here. But we kind of have a follow-up from yesterday's economy thing. Is it wasn't very related to trading, and cargo hauling is one of the things that I feel like
should be the backbone.
Jump point can just take to another level, right? Is that you're going from a Pyro system that maybe has good value stuff and bringing it to a stand system that has a ton of demand because it's an industrial superpower, right? That doesn't feel like it's happening. And the Eradicator, another YouTuber and streamer, made I think this is hilarious, is he made a issue council report saying Pyro to Stanton trades are way too low. And we actually got a response from a CIG Dev, who I believe is the dev that we've seen on SCL and things like that, to this post as if it was feedback. And yeah, this is funny. So this was his response to this thread. It's funny that this is what happens, but this does give you a little insight into what they want to do. Now, to be completely transparent, I already reacted to this and planned on posting it on YouTube. But after I reacted to this,
the comment came out. After he reacted to it, the dev came out with a response.
I took his advice and went in game and looked for some of these, I guess, the clues that he gave us. And my experience is not what he said. So let's talk about it a little bit. Trade and development districts are, by design, the worst place in Stanton to sell small batch commodities. I would consider small batch commodities anything below 120 SEU because it's kind of what he said. The worst place in Stanton to sell small batch commodities. If they are good, if you don't know where to sell, which I did just experience. I didn't know where to sell gold. So I had some gold on me, sold it at where am I? Orison right now. And it didn't sell for a great price, but it did sell for a profit. All right. So that's true for sure. You want to stockpile large amounts of something and then sell it all at once. Another good thing because they buy a lot. But they are some of the worst prices in Stanton for selling, but in exchange for the most reliable for dumping whatever you have. If you are seeing things that you can't buy in box sizes more than 4 SCU, it should be a sign that A, this is a bad commodity to try to trade in your 700 SCU ship, and B, don't try to take small boxes to the resource exchange for the whole planet and expect to make a good profit. It is just not what makes sense. Now, to be fair, I did not find any commodities that were in the 4 SCU size.
See, now this is what I'm going to make a point here about the economy and what it's intended to be or what I want it to be. Let's break this down. It's very simple. Supply and demand basics are best served in an MMO when it's player driven, period, full stop. If you want me to continue further, I can. There are a lot of EVE players that understand what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that are going to get mad that I say this. I still to this day think that this simulated quantum or 9-to-1 ratio or NPC AI structure that Tony Z built is going to work properly in terms of simulated demand. I've talked about this for a long time. I think this is something that we all have to consider might not be exactly simulated demand the way that we want. Demand that comes directly from players, gamers that need something is truly the demand, and the price will be set by those players. Now, this is why I'm always in favor of player-driven demand and why I'm very pro player-driven mechanics when it comes to the economy. And any true industrialist, any true trader, any true economist will most likely agree with these points. Let's keep going.
So that's not what I traded in. So I may be missing
What's up, Leaf?
part of the clue here, and that's one of the things that I missed. So I'm going to keep that here. To get the best profits in Stanton, you are intended to take each of those small scale goods and the
Absolutely. Leaf, good friend of the channel here. Awesome dude. You got to check out Leaf. By the way, can you shout him out there for us, Supermod Daft? I love Leaf. Leaf is awesome. He says, dev-driven economy is pointless to me. And in most games, think about it. Unless they're solo games, listen, when devs develop a solo-based economic game, there's plenty of them out there, okay, right? But when you get into an MMO, I completely agree with Leaf on this. Dev-driven economy is pointless in an MMO because they're always trying to balance and they never get it right. And really what they have to do is leave the shit alone and let the players dictate what the prices should be, just like a real market. This is how the real market works. And that's why I'm very much in favor of player-driven mechanics. And now, you know, this discussion that I'm seeing, but or what Mike is talking about and what ERAD's voicing up and what Mike is commenting on right now, it's a moot point. It's a moot point to me because we're just starting with the very fledgling origin of an economy, period. And most of the economy that we're going to see is exactly what Leaf and I don't like, which is a dev-driven economy. Again, those types of economies are generally pointless to me in MMOs. So all this right now feels like a waste of time. I'm glad that ERAD's putting some input in. That's nice. He's putting his own input in. The CIG Dev is telling that ERAD essentially what he wants in terms of being the dev, and telling ERAD essentially that trade development districts are huge hubs and you have to have massive amounts of SCU. And I understand the point from the dev side. But all this right now is kind of like a moot point. We'll keep going, but I don't see any reason to continue to discuss this because really this is just like 1.0 economy. This is like baby origin economy right now. It's not even close to where I want it to be at all.
These are bioplastics, golden menmon, sunset berries, carbon silk. By the way, golden menmon and sunset berries, I don't know where to buy them. But I know that you could find them in the world, like they're actual harvestables. And maybe carbon silk will be as well. And then you take them each to a different location to sell them. That's because they aren't practical to be traded by a large cargo hauler. It's complete overkill. Okay. Tip. Now, this is what I took to heart and did myself. Tip, if you're in something like an MSR, go to a rest and relax in Pyro and see what the highest value single commodity they have there that you could fill your MSR with. I found cobalt, 120 SCU. It was 7K, 6K, something like that. 7.5K, let's say, that I bought it for. And then I tried to find a place to sell it. In Stanton, like he's saying. They go to a few rest and relax stations in Stanton and see which one buys the whole amount for the best price. No, I have two people in chat right now flying around looking for a place that buys cobalt. No rest and relax in Stanton buys cobalt so far. And we have...
Again, there's so much I want to put into this because I'm so big into the economy. And I don't want to bore everybody with this talk because I know a lot of times I start talking about economy and people start falling asleep out there. But it is a very important aspect to any MMO. You got to have an economy that matters. Can't be just like fetch quest A to B. I'm listening to this conversation right now, and really all I'm hearing is like they got to initially put in the fetch quests or the simulated demand so that there is actually interaction between the two systems and that there are pirates and there are reasons for players to be out there and there are reasons for people to trade. And I understand this. This is all very early stage, setting up the economy with simulated demand. It's really all that's happening right now. But talk about actual Star Citizen trading platforms like SC Trades, the SC trade tool that people are using outside of Star Citizen to figure out what their best routes are. Like Mike's talking about, like where to go to buy and sell. You have to use these platforms like like SC Trade Tools, or you got to go to like Galactic Logistics, and you got to type these things up in a third party out of, you need like a whole nother screen, set it up, and you got to type in these trades. You got to type in where the profit's at before you do these things, and just aimlessly go around looking for profits. Not the way to do it. And that needs to be in the UI in the game. Can I get an amen on that? Do you guys understand what I'm saying right now?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
Like that, everything that I'm doing through these tools needs to actually be put into the game. Why aren't we talking about that? And I don't know, Mike might start talking about that. But that's a huge issue for a lot of us industrial kind of trading. I PvP, but I also do a lot of like industry work. And, it really sucks that these tools are not in the game. So let's be real. Let's be real.
I've looked at a lot of them.
Good.
Okay.
ERAD talked about it. I knew he would.
But
yep.
SCD1 on Daymar, which is an outpost, does. And that's kind of cool, but also not cool. Reason being is I have to manually unload. But at a place like, where was I? Starlight. Starlight is where I bought the Cobalt, and I am able to auto load that Cobalt, and then I can also auto unload if it's at a rest and relax. So the rest and relax loop is something that's incredibly desirable to cargo haulers because they hate moving cargo. It's not fun. It is a bad loop. They thought it would be fun. Most people are saying it's not, and it's true, right? Unless it's pretty small scale, then it's not.
The loops would take care of themselves. And again, this is one thing that I always bitch about. These loops, these game loops that Mike's bitching about in terms of like, are these trades desirable? Are these trades profitable? Would be fixed by themselves with player-driven demand. If a player wanted a certain commodity or asset and in bulk or whatever the quantity that they wanted, there's your demand, and then they would know that the trade station's a bitch to unload and load, and they would offer a higher price manually. They would put in the higher price. They would put in the premium. Why is Cloud Imperium devoting more devs to work that's not essential? Players could do the work for them. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Do you guys understand why player-driven demand is so important? Not just to not to give you that real vibe in game, also, but like to reduce the workload of people that work at Cloud Imperium? It's craziness. It's craziness to me, but let's keep going.
Not so bad. But once you're getting into the 100, your MSR, it's not fun. Like, it just isn't, right? You'll find yourself making a lot more UEC than trying to brute force taking all of the stuff only available in small amounts and then taking it to the TDD, which will buy everything for the lowest profit they think they can get out of you. Meanwhile, so this must be related to the post, to be honest, the TDD thing. Meanwhile, something like a Zeus try to take things from outposts on Pyro and see which outposts on Stanton want to buy those things. What I'm not seeing right now is a rest and relax to a rest and relax loop. I'm seeing Zypen seems to be something that's going back and forth a lot between them, but yeah. Now, this is really important as well. To add, I know you guys free trading are struggling to get enough information in game. It's very hard to know where to sell things and where to be able to buy things. And
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
And as we go way forward into the time machine, into the future, what I guess people have to realize is I believe that Cloud Imperium will add more tools for players to add buy orders and sell orders. So I want people to calm down as well and realize the stage that we are at in terms of the economy. We just now got introduced a whole new system, right? So we have to have patience, and the loops will come to fruition just from player-driven demand. And like Finger says, the crafting, building industrial sites that we saw that's going to be awesome. Player-owned industrial sites that we saw at CitizenCon. These things will come from demand, from both players and from AI, right? I just particularly feel that this will become, this all feels like a moot point to me because of where we're at with the economy. I think I'm done with this discussion. If you guys think I should talk about anything else, let me know in the comments below. We'll continue this discussion. I love economic discussion, but I think you guys understand where I'm coming at here. And you know, these are the bigger issues than the discussion that Salty's having with ERAD and ERAD's having with Cloud Imperium, and even Cloud Imperium's having with ERAD. Like what I'm talking about right now transcends all of this. And I hope that the economic team over at Cloud Imperium gets this. And I think that they do. But one thing that really bothers me about this entire thing, where the fuck is Tony Z?
Yes, can I get an amen? Yes.
Where the fuck is Tony Z?